Season 19 of Heartland doesn't just continue the story, it reaches back, gently pulling on threads woven in the early seasons. The Alberta landscape, as always, stands wide and welcoming, but this time, it's not just scenery, it's memory. Amy Fleming and her grandfather Jack Bartlett are seen once again riding across those familiar fields. The image feels like home. For longtime fans, it's a warm return to the bond that helped Amy through her most painful trials. Jack isn't just her grandfather, he's her anchor. And in season 19, it looks like that bond is being tested in ways we haven't seen before. But this calm familiarity masks deeper undercurrents. There's a growing weight in Amy's eyes. Behind her steady hands and quiet strength, something is shifting. She's returning to the roots of her work with horses, not just out of passion, but necessity. A photo reveals her mid-rescue trying to save a distressed cow. It's not just another ranch task, it's a signal that Amy is still the heart of this place, stepping up when no one else can. These moments echo the emotional core of the show: courage, kindness, and struggle. And that struggle might not be just external. As Lindy, Amy's daughter, steps into her mother's world, we see the next generation beginning to shape its own path. Lindy is growing quickly, both in age and ambition. Still photos hint at riding lessons, more structured now, almost like training for something bigger. There's even a glimpse of a possible graduation ceremony, maybe from school, maybe from a beginner riding class. Either way, it's a reminder of how time has passed and how quickly those children we once saw playing in the barn are becoming part of the legacy themselves. But with growth comes fear. Amy's role as a mother is expanding, and that protective instinct runs deep. Could Lindy's passion for horses one day place her in the same emotional crossfires Amy once faced? Is Amy ready to let go, even a little? And then, a shadow from the past returns. Mallory and her grandfather are back at the ranch. Their presence brings joy. Mallory's wit and warmth feel like they never left, but their arrival isn't just for nostalgia. Their timing is interesting. They're seen sharing a quiet meal with Jack and Amy. But what are they really here for? Could their return be connected to something more than a casual visit? Maybe unfinished business, or a story thread left dangling, waiting to unravel. Season 19 is gently reintroducing these familiar faces, not for comfort, but for confrontation, for closure, and maybe even for conflict. Would you like me to continue with Section 2? There's always been something sacred about the rhythm of life at Heartland Ranch. Horses are tended, meals are shared, and problems, no matter how painful, are faced head-on with quiet resilience. But this season, that rhythm feels disrupted. As each day passes, subtle cracks begin to form in the calm surface of daily life. Something is stirring, and it's not just the wind across the fields. Amy, for all her strength, seems caught between two worlds. On one side, she's the strong mother and dedicated trainer. On the other, a woman still healing. The stillness of the ranch mirrors the stillness in her heart, the space where Ty once lived. But something unexpected is beginning to challenge that silence. In one revealing photo, Amy is seen with Nathan, a man whose presence has sparked quiet speculation. Their interaction is warm, maybe too warm to ignore. There's a softness in her smile, a rare spark in her eyes. It's not just friendly, it's tentative, uncertain, almost like a first step into unfamiliar territory. This possible romance isn't just about love, it's about permission. Permission to move forward, to risk the pain of opening her heart again. And that's where the emotional stakes rise. Because if Amy takes this step, it won't just affect her, it could ripple through the entire Heartland family. How will Jack react? Can he accept someone new in Amy's life after all they've lost together? And what about Lindy? Can a child understand the need to let love back in when the past still casts a long shadow? But while Amy wrestles with the future, the ranch faces another tension: secrecy. Something about Mallory's return doesn't sit right. She says she's here to visit, to reconnect. But small things feel off. The way she lingers near old places. The way her grandfather keeps glancing at Jack when they talk about the past. There's weight in their silence, as if they're hiding something. Could they be carrying news? Or worse, a burden they've been avoiding for years? And just as these questions start to simmer, a new piece of the puzzle appears. A mysterious envelope arrives at Heartland addressed to Amy but unsigned. Its contents aren't revealed, but Amy's reaction says it all. Her hands tremble. Her eyes scan the paper once, then again, as if searching for a mistake. She doesn't say a word. She simply folds it quietly and walks away. What's inside that letter? Could it be connected to Ty? Or maybe something legal, something threatening the land or the family itself? Could it be about Lindy? The envelope is a silent explosion, disrupting the peaceful illusion of daily life at Heartland. And though no one else knows yet, the tension it brings will spread, like cracks in ice just before it shatters. Meanwhile, Jack watches. He's been here before, seen joy turn to sorrow, peace into struggle. But this time, he looks more tired, more guarded. He senses what's coming, even if no one else does. Jack knows that when the past resurfaces at Heartland, it rarely does so without consequences. And so, the stage is set. A ranch full of unspoken truths, a family balancing between memory and change, a woman caught between heartbreak and hope. Season 19 isn't just telling a story, it's unfolding a mystery, one quiet moment at a time. Would you like me to continue with Section 3? The quiet tension at Heartland Ranch is no longer just a feeling. It's becoming reality. Whispers have turned into questions, and now questions are beginning to demand answers. Amy thought she had finally found a fragile balance between grief and hope, past and future. But in Season 19, that balance begins to tip, and the fallout is bound to reach everyone she loves. The mysterious letter that shook Amy has become the center of her thoughts. She's not telling anyone what it said, but her behavior is changing. She's distracted during training sessions, even distant during family dinners. Jack notices. He's always been able to read Amy like a book, even when she thinks she's hiding her pain well. And when he gently asks her what's going on, Amy brushes it off with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. That alone is enough to tell Jack. Whatever's happening, it's serious. Meanwhile, the growing bond between Amy and Nathan continues to evolve, but not everyone sees it as a welcome development. Lisa, Jack's longtime partner, has a quiet moment with Amy, one filled with unspoken concern. She doesn't say Nathan's name outright, but the message is clear. The past must be honored, not buried. For the first time, Amy feels judged, not just by others, but by her own heart. Is she betraying Ty's memory by allowing someone new in? Or is she finally ready to live again, even if the road ahead is uncertain? But Amy isn't the only one facing emotional crossroads. Lindy, her daughter, is pushing boundaries. Her riding lessons have progressed faster than anyone expected. She's bold, fearless, traits Amy recognizes all too well, but that fearlessness can be dangerous. One morning, Lindy sneaks off to ride a young, untrained horse by herself. What starts as innocent excitement quickly spirals when the horse bolts, sending Lindy into a panicked gallop across the open field. When Amy finds her, breathless and shaken, the moment becomes more than just a scare. It becomes a mirror. Amy sees her younger self in Lindy and all the risks that came with it. Suddenly her role isn't just mother, it's protector. And that realization cuts deep. This incident rattles the family. Jack is furious at the danger, at the lack of communication, at the past repeating itself. But it's also a turning point. It forces Amy to confront the fact that Lindy isn't a little girl anymore. She's growing, choosing, challenging, and Amy must find the courage to guide her without controlling her. At the same time, the unease surrounding Mallory continues to grow. She and her grandfather have been staying longer than expected, and Jack finally decides to confront them. What follows is a tense, emotional conversation that reveals a bombshell. Mallory's grandfather is sick, seriously sick, and they came to Heartland not just to visit, but to ask for help. Not financial, not medical, something much harder. Mallory wants to stay. She wants to return to the ranch permanently, to find grounding again, to raise her own family in the place that raised her. It's a request that splits the household. Jack feels protective, Lisa is cautious, and Amy, already overwhelmed by her own life, feels torn between loyalty and responsibility. Can the ranch handle this kind of change? And what happens when old memories start colliding with new realities? As the season deepens, one theme becomes clear. No one is standing still. The past is chasing everyone. And Heartland, the place that once offered safety and stability, is now the epicenter of emotional change. The camera may not show the storm just yet, but it's building. Silently, surely. And when it finally breaks, nothing will be the same. Something is coming to a head at Heartland Ranch. It's no longer just tension, it's a quiet, brewing storm, and every character is standing in its shadow. Amy, Jack, Lindy, and now Mallory. They're all caught between what used to be and what must come next. But perhaps the biggest twist of all is still waiting just beyond the horizon. As Amy tries to regain control of her emotions and responsibilities, Nathan begins to pull away. What once seemed like the beginning of a slow, respectful relationship now feels uncertain. Nathan is kind, patient, but he senses the weight Amy still carries. He doesn't want to become a reminder of what she's lost, or worse, a replacement for someone unforgettable. So he makes a difficult choice. He gives Amy space, but not before saying something that stays with her. You don't have to heal alone, Amy, but you do have to choose to heal. It's that line, the gentle yet powerful truth, that pushes Amy toward one of her most vulnerable decisions yet. She visits Ty's grave, something she hasn't done on camera in a long time. The scene is silent, heavy. She kneels, not to say goodbye, but to say thank you. For the love, for the lessons, for the strength that still flows through her every time she puts her hand on a horse's mane or wraps her arms around Lindy. And in that moment, Amy begins to let go. Not of Ty, but of the fear of moving on. Meanwhile, a letter arrives at the ranch. Not the same one from earlier in the season, but connected. It's from a man claiming to be Ty's distant relative, someone who's been searching for the Fleming family. His intentions are unclear, but the timing couldn't be worse. Jack reads the letter first and hides it, unsure whether to involve Amy yet. But this secret won't stay buried. And when Amy eventually finds it, it will open a door to a past even she didn't know existed. Lindy, too, is standing at a turning point. She's been offered a spot in a prestigious junior riding camp, something that could shape her future as a trainer, just like her mother. Amy is proud, but hesitant. Letting Lindy go, even for a few weeks, means accepting that her daughter is growing into a life of her own. And for a mother who has already lost so much, that's both beautiful and terrifying. Then there's Mallory. Her decision to stay at the ranch becomes more complicated as her grandfather's condition worsens. One emotional night, Amy finds Mallory crying in the barn, clutching a worn-out photo of her childhood horse. The two women, bonded by shared memories and present fears, sit together in silence. Heartland has always been a place for healing, but this time, the healing comes with hard choices. As the season edges toward its finale, the themes become crystal clear: family, legacy, grief, and change. Not every story is wrapped neatly. Not every question is answered. But that's what makes Heartland so powerful. It reflects life, not just the good parts, but the complicated, imperfect moments in between. And just when things begin to settle, a final scene shifts everything. Night falls on the ranch. The camera lingers on the front porch where Jack sits alone, reading the letter again. Behind him, Amy steps out, saying nothing, just watching the stars. Then, headlights appear in the distance. A car pulls up. The door opens. A figure steps out. Unseen, unnamed. Jack's face changes. Recognition, confusion, maybe even fear. Cut to black. The storm has arrived. Season 19 isn't just a chapter in Heartland's journey. It's a reckoning. A season about roots and growth, endings and beginnings. A season where love must be redefined and family tested like never before. And fans? They're not just watching anymore. They're holding their breath. Heartland Season 19 has already pulled us through waves of memory, emotion, and quiet transformation. But just when we think the storm has passed, it deepens. Because the final stretch of this season isn't about comfort or conclusion. It's about confronting what's been buried for too long. And what's coming might just change the ranch forever. Section 5. The mysterious figure who steps out of that car doesn't speak right away. Jack stares, frozen, his weathered face flickering with recognition. And something else. Pain. Amy walks forward slowly, uncertain, clutching Lindy's blanket tighter around her shoulders. A voice finally breaks the silence. It's been a long time, Jack. The man is revealed to be Wade, Ty's estranged uncle. A name long whispered, rarely spoken aloud. Someone Jack hoped was lost to time. But Wade isn't here for revenge or reunion, at least not in the way anyone expects. He carries with him a box. Inside are photos, letters, and something else. A deed to a piece of land Ty once visited as a teenager. Land he dreamed of building on. A home, a sanctuary. Jack is suspicious. Amy is overwhelmed. Why now? Why this? Wade says he found Ty's journal recently, left behind after years of family silence. In it, Ty had written about Heartland, about Amy, about building a future, one he never got to complete. But now, Wade says, he wants to offer that land to Amy and Lindy. A legacy. One last piece of Ty's dream. But nothing at Heartland comes without questions. As Amy reads through Ty's journal, she uncovers things she never knew. His fears, his regrets, even doubts he once had about staying in Hudson. There's a rawness to it, a side of Ty that was human, not just heroic. And for Amy, it's like losing him all over again. And yet somehow getting to know him more deeply. Meanwhile, Lindy continues to grow. In one especially touching scene, she helps birth a foal with Jack by her side. The way she handles the moment, calm, brave, intuitive, makes Jack whisper under his breath, "She's got Ty in her." It's a simple line, but it echoes through the ranch like thunder. But there's one more twist. Lisa, Jack's wife, receives a business offer that could take her to Europe for months. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, but it also threatens the delicate balance at Heartland. If Lisa leaves, Jack will be alone in managing the ranch. Amy will have less support with Lindy, and the entire dynamic may shift. Jack tells her to go, to follow her dream. But Lisa doesn't answer right away. Her decision hangs heavy in the air, just like so many others this season. Mallory faces her own heartbreak when her grandfather is hospitalized. She must choose between staying at Heartland or returning home to care for him. In a heartfelt scene, Amy assures her, "This place will always be your home, but sometimes home is where you're needed most." And then comes the final montage. Amy rides alone across the fields. No music, just hoofbeats and wind. She stops, looks at the sky, then back at the ranch. The camera cuts between her, Jack quietly sanding a piece of wood in the barn, Lindy laughing with her pony, and Lisa staring at a plane ticket she hasn't yet packed for. Mallory hugs Jack one last time. Wade places Ty's journal on the porch, wrapped in a worn ribbon. The episode ends not with a bang, but a breath. A moment of stillness before whatever comes next. Because Heartland Season 19 isn't just about healing. It's about inheritance, of values, land, love, and pain. It's about letting go without forgetting. About choosing the future, not despite the past, but because of it. The questions left hanging are quiet, but powerful. Will Amy build on Ty's land? Will Lisa leave? Will Jack finally slow down? Or will he hold the ranch together one last time? And most importantly, what does Heartland become when the people who built it begin to move on? Fans, prepare yourselves, because the quietest storms leave the deepest marks. And Season 19 is just the beginning of a whole new legacy.